All right, well, this is kind of weird. Justin Trudeau is somehow back in the news for Canada, but for all of the wrong reasons. It seems like Justin Trudeau could actually be on the hook to go to jail. This is something that the leader of the opposition, Pierre Poilievre, has been talking about, and now it's making its rounds on social media. And we're going to take a look at just the ins and outs, if that's even possible, and then also an update on the most recent of Canadian news. All I ask in return is for you guys to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into it. Starting off with this very weird post from Justin Trudeau saying 10 years ago today, Canadians chose a more helpful path. I'll never forget that night in 2015, the energy, the optimism, and the belief that together we could build a better future. And of course, this is referring to the fact when he actually got elected as prime minister. A decade later, and we've lifted hundreds of thousands of people out of poverty, strengthened and grown the middle class, built a $10 a day childcare system, led the fight against climate change, advanced reconciliation, and made Canada more inclusive and fair for everybody, which of course we all know is at the top of the priority list for everybody, right? Everybody wants more inclusivity. Oh my goodness, I say sarcastically. I'm deeply grateful to everyone who is part of this journey and believed that better is always possible. And then, of course, you get people that are saying, hey, Grok, compare 10 years ago to today. And, well, Grok is saying that it's a lot worse off today. And so even Justin Trudeau, who's not prime minister anymore, he's not in politics at all, can't help himself but to get overly involved. And let's just go down memory lane. Even though this clip seems like it was, a month or two ago, this is actually from several years ago. I think in the middle of or just right when COVID started. This is Pierre Poilievre, who shows all of the redactions that Justin Trudeau had done on all of his scandals.
Then we have here an email from Craig Kielburger to Bill Morneau. And, we'd love to learn about the attached documents in it, but unfortunately, in what is to become a trend throughout this package, it's all the relevant information in the two documents are completely
redacted,
blacked out. Another email from Craig Kielburger that went to someone in the government the same day he spoke to Bill Morneau on the phone, but we don't know who received the email, that's blacked out, or what the email said, all blacked out.
That's insane.
Here's an email from the minister responsible for the department that granted the $500 million to her top bureaucrat. Again, all the substance is blacked out. And that would not be the first time. Next page, blacked out. This page, blacked out. This page, blacked out. This page, blacked out. Why don't we ask what's in those pages at a parliamentary committee?
By the way, this is the Pierre Poilievre that, basically won people over. This version of Pierre is what really made people we needed this to go against Trudeau, because Trudeau was so corrupt and no other conservative politician was really doing an adequate job at the time of really showing and exposing the ridiculousness of our prime minister. And so this right here, even though it seems crazy, he's throwing papers, no Canadian politician had ever really done that. So Pierre was kind of the first to coin this type of just expose, and it was phenomenal, right? I mean, absolutely phenomenal. More votes for the Conservatives than any other Conservative leader had ever pulled off. So he did a really good job. We just need this guy back, right? It seems like he's a little tamed out right now. We need this guy, this version back, because this was phenomenal.
Well, I'll tell you why. Justin Trudeau shut down those parliamentary committees. When did he do it? The same day these documents became public.
Oh,
what
my goodness.
A coincidence. The prime minister goes to the governor general's office and says, Gigi, I'm about to release some very damning information, but I've covered it in black ink. And if you'll just shut down Parliament for me today, then none of the opposition politicians can force me to remove that ink and reveal the truth. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a cover-up. Conservatives will not relent. We will continue to fight to get to the truth. The Prime Minister personally intervened to get a $500 million grant to a group that had paid his family $500,000. He is covering it up by blacking it out and shutting down our investigations. But I've got news for him. Conservatives are just getting started.
Yeah, buddy. Oh my goodness. I miss that. I really, really do miss that so much. And to be honest, Trudeau deserved every level of expose on him. Trudeau is so freaking corrupt. And our new prime minister, right? Mark Carney, he's not innocent either. I mean, there's so many conflicts of interest. All of his investments aren't in Canada. They're all in America. There's weird ties, Elon Musk and Trump. I mean, it's just gross. We can't seem to elect a good, honest person as prime minister, at least not in a very long time. I really hope Canada does wake up, because it's unfortunate what's happening to the country. But that's my opinion, folks. I would love to know yours. And then we're going to take a look at CBC, because CBC is now obsessed with talking about Pierre Poilievre, because recently Pierre Poilievre said that he thinks that Justin Trudeau should go to jail for the crimes that he committed while prime minister. So let's take a look now at what CBC is saying.
People that are looking at this across the board, he's the leader of the opposition, dominating media in the last few days, not in a good way. Yeah. That's not a good thing. Yes, he has a leadership review, and a lot of the people in the party who support him may look at this and be nodding along, but there's going to be some people who are thinking, what in the heck are we doing here? How are we preparing to defeat the Liberals in the next election if we're talking about this sort of thing and running down the RCMP the way we are? That is not how you win elections in this country.
Mel, I just wonder your thoughts of this are. I mean, because the administration of justice, faith in national policing, faith in criminal investigations. When the RCMP says this is a crime, we need to charge them, you should believe it. Totally. And when they say there isn't, you should also believe that too, right? In an ideal world, what do you think this does to that whole dynamic?
I kind of have three thoughts when I hear him talk like that. The first one is really dangerous and rhetoric divisive, right? Your point in doing this is to pit people against each other. And what's weird about it is we saw police associations across the country line up.
Bro, the Liberal government has been pitting people against each other for so long, literally divide and conquer. They literally ostracized like millions of people in this country if they didn't want to participate in certain experimental drugs. I mean, it's crazy what's going on. The Liberal government, you're talking about ostracizing people, you're talking about divisiveness. The Liberal government is literally that. That's all they do, is they divide, and then they shame, and then they gaslight people. It's insane. And this is literal propaganda. What you're seeing in Canada right now with CBC, this is actual propaganda. And the craziest part is it's allowed. Under Justin Trudeau, he repealed the fact that any media they have no accountability for whether they're putting out truth or falsehoods. None. So let that sink in.
Up with Pierre Poilievre in the last election. So to hear him disparage RCMP officers is I find strange. And the institution that we should be very careful to not bias in any way, I find that strange. The second is desperate. It feels desperate, and desperate in you've got a leadership coming up and you are literally trying everything that Canadians rejected in the last election to shore up your base going into that leadership. With this, with the Freedom Convoy stuff, with all sorts of stuff, with the DEI stuff over Thanksgiving weekend, like this just seems like you're just throwing everything you can at the wall to shore up folks. And the third thing that it makes me think of is you're kind of out to lunch. Prime Minister's gone. This was something that happened in 2017. Why are we still talking about it? There's been how many elections since then? 3. Canadians decided in every single one of those elections that they didn't care, that they were still going to vote for the Liberals. So it just seems like, I don't know what you're talking.
But that's the problem right there. Canadians keep deciding that they don't care because of the propaganda, because of this. Hey, you know what? Scandals that happened in 2017, just let them go. It's no big deal. All of the corruption, all of the illegal activities, all the money laundering, all of the actual criminal behavior that would land you in jail for life, the prime minister did it. Now just let it go, bro. It happened in 2017. We don't need accountability in Canada. We can just let it go because it happened a few elections ago. Just let it go. This is propaganda. It's disgusting to see this.
About, I don't know why you're talking about it, and you must really be trying every single thing to work because nothing's working for you right now is my kind of thoughts on that.
You want to jump in?
Well, it's just interesting. He is everywhere. Like he's doing, it was, what's it called?
Not in a good way.
Northern Perspectives was the podcast and YouTube channel.
Never heard of it before, watched it.
But there's a lot of things in the YouTube space, you know.
There's so much. And there's a lot of good stuff out there too that we just don't see. But he also went on CBC The House numerous times, right? Like he is trying to go everywhere and tell different types of messages to different groups.
Conflicting.
He speaks conflicting. expecting, and he speaks in a different tone to them, that's going to catch up with, this caught up with them. I don't think they expected this to be seen by, we're talking about it on CBC right now.
The invincibility and the invulnerability that kind of shielded him from a lot of things until this election, it isn't there now, right? And I think that has changed sort of the media ecosystem in the country on this.
Oh my goodness, CBC is grasping at straws, man. This is pretty crazy to see the fact that mainstream media is just they're panicking because the closer you get to the truth, the more propaganda that you start to see in the country, right? Hey man, this happened in 2017. This happened a little while ago. Trudeau's gone. He's a private citizen. Never mind going after him. What is there to even do? Who cares, right? Corruption, scandals, actual criminal behavior, it doesn't matter in Canada because it happened in the past. So we're just going to bury it and move on and allow the cycle to repeat itself. We're not going to even allow people to be educated on this because it happened in the past. Who cares? Let me tell you, if this was the Conservatives that had this many scandals and the Liberals were trying to rehash things, the media would say, well, we can't let this go. People have to be aware of these types of activities. It's a double standard. It's disgusting. CBC is obviously very liberally biased. And this is why you have half of a country, more than half of a country, that is literally like brain dead. It's just propaganda. They're consuming propaganda. That's why it's so important to hit the like, subscribe to this channel and others alike. And I'll see you guys in other videos because we have to be able to expose this type of corruption. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.